Five. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the day again, and we are here. We are so excited to be here, and we know for sure that you couldn't wait also to be here on this show with us. So, right now, we are on the loudest African debate, and I am joined with my brother in the struggle, Mr. Ajamu, all the way from Orlando, United States of America. He has been my co-host and he has never disappointed. So let us welcome him. Put your hands together for him.
Right on, Uhuru.
That's great. And we have this young man on the show, um, Asa Somalia Anako. I would love to introduce Asa Namalua Samoli Anapu. I'm sorry if I murder your name. You are going to tell people more about you as we go on. He's the Secretary General of the African People's Socialist Party, and he joined this party in 2013. Probably that was when he was very young, and he has been an African internationalist since that time. And he's also a musician, a hip hop musician. Wow, that's great. And
Mm-hmm.
he has done music since 2005 and have been
Wow.
spreading the belief through music. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege that we have this young man on the show. Last time we had Tafari, and he was very, very elaborate and very, very um, um,
Mm-hmm.
um, understanding on what our mission was, and we had a very awesome show. And
Mm-hmm.
this is another young man from the Socialist Party. So we are happy to be having these young people come up here and talk to us about the Africa of our dream. And guys, there is something that I want to say real quickly before I will allow Asa to go on to introduce himself. There are people who think our efforts to create the Africa of our dream is just noise and it will never come to fruition. But one thing I believe is time is coming and that time will soon be here. That noise that people consider us to be making will be the only voice of reason that young people across the continent will reason and take solace in it as hope. We hold this truth that one day the Africa of our dream will be realized. And when that day comes, we will all rejoice because it is surely going to come. Thank you guys very much. Our brother Asa, we will love you to introduce yourself to our listeners.
Right on. Black Power family. In our organization and movement, we say Uhuru, and I am very happy to be here. Thank you all. Yeah, as the brother has said, Brother King Fazana Joe, that my name is Asa Somali Anpu. So you didn't do too bad, brother. Uhuru.
Mm.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that was Asa right there. And I know you guys enjoyed what he had to say. We are so glad to have him. We are going to have an awesome show, trust me. So, Brother Ajamu, man, do you have any word before we go into the topic of the day?
Yeah, I just wanted to say hi to everybody who's listening. Hopefully, you could like what we're doing on Facebook and other social platforms, as well as share the link with people. You may not be able to attend now, but you can definitely check it out during the week. The actual show, it's recorded and so forth.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is our brother Ajam, all the way from United States of America, and I know that you guys are excited having us together on the show one more time. The topic of the show is very close to my heart. Listen, I don't need a dictionary to define what a slave is. A slave is just simply that person who doesn't have his will. He has everything defined for him. That's who a slave is. So the question or the debate of the day is, are we Africans really free or we are still slaves? This is the question that everybody today that is tuning in want to hear you guys talk about. So I will start with Mr. Ajam. According to you, if you see where the black race is right now, or Africa as a whole, do you think that we are really free? Or do you think that you are not in a good position to answer that question?
Yeah, I would have to say that based off of my own judgment that we're not free, not free. So at this point, because freedom is based off of the fact that you could do things, or you can say, for instance, based off of the fact that you don't have any debt, based off the fact that you grow your own food, or you have means to medical, you have your own sovereignty. And I kind of don't see that. There might be some countries in the world that can boast that, and so forth. But where I'm at right now, definitely in slavery, not a physical form of it, but definitely in the mental form of it. And a lot of it has to do with, debt. A lot of it has to do with just no say in the government, no land, don't own any land, any real wealth. So modern day slaves, pretty much.
Wow, that's powerful. Before we go on, Tara said something on a on the comment, very profound. I would just want you guys to read through what she said. Tara is our regular listener. She said, actually, slavery is not finished, but it is just on a different level.
Hmm.
Asara, I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, well, thank you, brother. Um, and I actually unite with, the sister as well as brother Ajamu, when he speaks about the fact that African people are not free. We are not free. And what does freedom mean? Because I often, I catch a lot of times with things such as, mental slavery as well as mental freedom, because that'll be its opposite. But I'll say that freedom has material qualities. So that is how it's akin to slavery, is that it has material qualities. If a slave can be chained up or put inside a ghetto or beaten and chained or put in prison or, arrested by some pigs, those are all material things. They have nothing to do with what their slave is imagining, right? So how can freedom be something that's imaginary? Freedom has to be something you can smell, see, taste, hear, and touch. So it's material. Freedom has to be material, just as slavery is material. So I think that's one thing that we could use to qualify what we mean by freedom, and what we mean by slavery. African people produce and reproduce life for white people, for white power, for the oppressor, for the capitalist, colonial capitalist system, you understand, as well as white nation, and all the other emerging nations that are parasitically latched on to this social system that's sucking our blood all the time. So clearly, those material things, those material evidences are proof that no, African people are not free. So, and I wouldn't even say that This means that we will have to think about ourselves differently. It's not about the thoughts; it's about the material action that we put in place,
Mm,
such as the African Revolution, being led by African workers in order to take back our production and be able to, get power over our resources, as Brother Jamu had just said. Wuru, yeah.
mm. All right. All right. All right. So, yeah, I was gonna ask a question, brother Asa. I was gonna ask a question. Um,
So,
my question is there any possible solution, or do you have like a plan or a possible plan to try to get people out of, I guess, mental slavery or out of whatever condition they may be in? Because I've noticed when I'm dealing with people on the continent, they'll say stuff like, you brothers in America put too much blame on the European. Like you don't focus on yourself. You're not.
really?
No, I'm just saying. I from my experience, that's what I hear is, don't put too much blame on them. Try to focus on you and liberate your mind, and then move forward in the system that was created by them. Do you have a response to that?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
totally.
I think
Oh,
yes.
okay.
No, I think yeah, I can hear you guys loud and clear now. The question
What?
that the
How did that
question,
happen?
yeah,
All
it just
right.
happened. It just happened. Mother
What what
Africa didn't.
what you
So
call it? Scotland Yard. Let us talk now. Scotland Yard up in England. They
yeah,
let us talk
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Man, that's
So
unbelievable. All right, cool.
so when we started the show, I said something. I said, I don't need a dictionary to define what a slave is. Any human being that does not have the audacity or the free will to do what they have to do when they want to do, they are not free. You understand? And the question is, how many of the African countries we
Uh oh. Oh man. What the?
Or did the brother just freeze?
Yeah, he'll be back, I think. But
All
keep
right. So,
keep what I yeah. If you want to elaborate on what I had asked, because I get that a lot. I've gotten that a
mhm,
lot. Like I'm putting too much blame on the European for whatever
for what
reason.
they do.
Right.
All right. Well,
And
I
and and,
think,
I- and,
brother.
and by all means, open. Talk freely. Be honest.
Yeah. Well, always. 'Cause I'm an African internationalist. I'll just say it like this, brother. Anybody who thinks Africans in the kitchen are different from Africans in the bedroom has no understanding of what a house is. And that's an
Mm,
analogy and a bit of a quip, to just say that there's no such thing as an Afro American or a South African who's black or a Nigerian, unless you're talking about white people. White people are the only Nigerians, only Somalians, only Kenyans, and only Rhodesians that you'll ever find in the world. They're the
mm,
only damn Americans that you'll find. You understand? So I
right.
think, first of all, we'd have to define our ideology or identification of self
Mm,
according to ourselves as African people, because the experiences in Southside Chicago, in Jamaica, and Brazil, in the favelas, is no
mm,
different from the experiences in Everton West and Fochville or
right.
Mbombela in Mpumalanga. You know what I'm saying? So that would be
Right.
the first thing. And secondly, we'd have to admit the fact that when people are saying that don't blame the white power structure for what the white power structure has built, I think they emotionalize the issue and forget that things are born or come into being through a certain process and maintained by that process. If I plant a tree in the soil, guess what maintains it? The damn soil. I put any kind of agent that'll toxify the soil, I have successfully endangered or killed this damn tree. That's just part of the thing about slavery and what colonialism is. Because I think people who assume that white people are not responsible for white power are basically saying that you can plant a peach tree today and then tomorrow you can get bananas from that same tree, which is just it's an insane statement. So the truth of the matter is, white power was not born as an error or mistake or historical snafu. White power was born as a way for Europe to protect itself and Europeans, white people, basically, to build up themselves at the expense of African and indigenous people and everyone else in the world that they colonized and plagued. You understand? So I'll say that so that people understand that if that is what made this world, I always make the definition between a world and an earth. The earth is natural, geological, right? And then the world would be relationships that are created by human beings. So this world was born from the enslavement of your and my mother and father, from the dispersal of our people. So today, when Africans are dispersed, it's to maintain this world. When Africans are being raped and murdered, it's to maintain this world. Doesn't matter if an African is stabbing another African, just as I'm from a case right now where a brother and his wife stabbed each other. The brother stabbed the sister in the heart, the sister stabbed the brother in the neck. And everybody was saying, oh yeah, it's this alcohol. But I'm asking, wait a minute now, why do we drink? Because we're stressed. Why are we stressed? Because we don't own our lives. We don't have power. Who owns our life? White people. Okay then, so how is this not tied to white power at all? And it becomes an aha moment, so yeah.
All right, interesting. So I guess my next question is, does the organization that you're a part of, does it, because I used to and sometimes get accused of being maybe violent or hateful or seeking some type of revenge. Does your organization have those elements, or is it just a misunderstanding that the truth is the truth and we got to move forward as a group of people, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Urum Africa, thank you so much for your question, brother Ajamu. I would say it's much closer to the latter, because we are philosophical materialists. That's a tool. That's not our philosophy, but it is the philosophic cornerstone. It's a tool that we use as a movement, as an organization, as a political formation, you understand, as a party even. So we are not going to say that we are non-violent and perhaps we are misunderstood. What we really want is a seat in office. No. The truth of the matter is, how these resources are taken from African people is through violence, and how they are kept is through violence. The structures in the ghetto are structural violence, as university cats like to say. It's structural violence. So if anybody's talking about breaking a window or breaking out of prison using tissue paper, good luck.
May not make it.
No, just might not, right? But if you're gonna really strap with oppression, like really get down to it, you have to equalize the force. And I'm not saying that as some kind of a vengeful statement. I'm saying it as in, anything that stands in the way of the people's freedom has to be destroyed with utmost and merciless force in every possible way. Ideologically, yes, but primarily materially. We have to create organization enough to actually physically remove any kind of obstacle that stands in the way of our freedom. Because as we keep saying, Africa, our freedom is physical. Our freedom is going to be physical. We have to,
just to add to what you were saying, I always go back when some people make those statements. I always tell them, well, what about the American Revolution? They fought and they killed a whole bunch of people. And they, and I'm not equating the African with the American Revolution. I'm just saying sometimes the people that are pointing toward us as a people, and they're saying, "Oh, look at you guys! You guys are getting organized. You guys are trying to do the same thing to us as we did to you." And I always say, "No, I disagree." But yet, we can find in your history where you had revolutions and you fought and you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wow, is that by saying those things, is that a cover up or a code word that we can't organize as a
It
people
is.
to do the right things in life? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's, we can't do that? Because I
Oh
hear that
yeah.
all the time. I hear that all the time. I hear, you know, like if I'm with a group of brothers and we're all wearing African garb, it's like it's assumed that we're gonna do something violent, even though we've never been, we never committed violence. I've never been
Of
in
course.
trouble. I've never been
Yeah.
arrested. I've never been charged yet, but I haven't. I'm good. I don't
Uh-huh.
have that in my. I don't have that in my thought pattern. That's not my first thing that comes up in my mind. Is to seek revenge or be violent, or so that's why
Yeah.
that's the only reason why I was asking that question, is because I think a lot of times African groups or groups that are predominantly pro-African get that bad, you know, reputation, and it's like, no, I don't see that. I don't, and I'm a part of organizations that are all black. I mean, my nonprofit is all black. My profit organization that I created on this side is all black, but we're not like running around, you know, with bulletproof vest on and getting ready for, you know. But I will say this. I will say this. I do have a right to protect myself and my family and whatever wealth that I did acquire. I do have a right to do that. So I'm not saying that, you know, everybody's a pushover. That's a human right. Everyone has the right to protect themselves, regardless. But go ahead,
So
King. Go ahead, King.
yeah, so I got a question for Asa. Asa, what have you agreed on? Do you agree that we are still slaves, or you agree that we are free?
Still slaves, brother. We still colonized.
We are still colonized, and by who exactly are we still colonized?
White people, Europeans.
Now, don't you think that sometimes the biggest hindrance of a human being is that human being himself? Don't you think that thing is applicable to us as black people?
No, sir. No,
Between
sir. No,
right
sir.
now, the 21st century, yeah, right now, the 21st century that we are, between the white and the black on black hate and the white on black hate, which one is more prevalent? Don't you
You
think that
know,
blacks hate each other more than white people hate them?
oh, well, okay, brother. Should I answer right now?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I would like to hear the answer. Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, I spoke about a social system being built against African people. Now, how this looks in the real world is that if it is built from killing or murdering African people, it needs to create justification for that in order for the system to continue to exist. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
consequently, anybody who's trying to move up in the system, be he African or be it a white man or be it even a Chinese person, needs to agree to those codes, those emotional codes that I speak about in terms of accepting that African people should be killed and should be dispersed and should be looted. So there's a subjective identification of what an African person is in terms of like everybody has to agree to that, even black people. The black people who hate African people, guess what they are having as their interest? Their interest is to become rich and join the what is this? The white ruling class. Steve Biko used to say it like this right here in Soweto, and Eastern Cape. He used to say, the black middle class, he would say the black man, because he in South Africa you are not allowed to say class or socialist or anything like that at the time because you get arrested under the Suppression of Communism Act. But
Oh
Steve Biko
wow.
said, yeah, yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know
yeah.
that. I didn't know that. Yeah. Keep going, brother. This is good, man. Keep going.
Real talk, Africa. So since 1961, as part of the counterintelligence program, in the United States, even, by the way, showing that
Mm,
imperialism is not independent from itself. It's always South Africa is America. South Africa
mm.
is Nigeria. America is Congo and all these other savage prisons for black people. So anyway, I'll say this. Steve Biko used to say, the black middle class is only incensed at the white man to the extent that he wants to replace the white man and sit where the white man is sitting at. So there's a particular class within our nation, which is the minority class, as I was talking to Brother Ajamu about this thing. It's called the black middle class or the African petty bourgeoisie. And these are black people who actually want to be rich. But what does being rich mean? An analogy of this is that being rich means having 10 plates as one man, and then being poor is 10 people sharing one plate. And then they kill each other and they do all these contradictions, and you say, look at them, they can't even handle one plate, right? So you see, that's the thing about this black on black hatred. Black on black hatred is only possible because people are trying to move up in a system that is against black people, that's against black life. So of course, if I'm against black life, I have to hate black people as a condition of moving up. That's why university graduates, we've had a lot of them, but there's only been about 10 to 11 to 15 university graduates who ever did anything for the African Revolution in 600 years. I swear. I swear that.
Wow.
But,
Yeah. Oh, you see,
Wow.
I have a problem with the fact that if we are in slavery, if we still claim to be slaves in this particular century that we are in now, and freedom has been given to us, let's be very clear here. No matter how we can talk of a control system, there is no precedent that we want to do good to his country that somebody will come from somewhere and say, don't do it. It doesn't take much to create a better system. Just like Ajamu will always say on this show that fix the Wi-Fi, fix the Wi-Fi. Now, all that our people demand as Africans is not much. We just want good roads, good electricity and water system. This is all. If
Wi-Fi.
you go, yeah, if you go all over Africa, this is the only thing we require from our leaders. But how come is this very simple, this basic amenities so hard for our leaders to do? And in turn, we will still be blaming people that we are still slaves because it's hard for us to do just the common things. And if we
yes.
are not doing even just the common things, how are we on earth having the audacity to still blame other people for our failure as a people? Listen,
Right on.
I'm not denying the fact that a lot of things has been done and all of that, but I love being real. I love being real. At the end of the day, why are we still slaves? Because I do not disagree with you that we are still slaves, but why are we still slaves? Is it that we have become slaves under our own people?
Now,
Right
I
on.
will, yeah. Before you answer real quick, brother, not to interrupt, I was just gonna add some things because I'm kind of on the fence. I kind of have some agreement with brother Asa, and I have some, I kind of got some agreement with King Fawzan. However, I will like to mention that poverty is in a form of, it's a crime. It's a form of enslavement, basically.
Yeah,
If for every lack of word, if you can't control the education, you can't control the curriculum that you're being taught in schools. That's also a form of quote unquote slavery. Now, the slavery that I speak of is an economic slavery. So, like with me, if I don't go to work tomorrow, I can't. Where I'm gonna get food? You know what I'm saying? Like I have to go to work. I have to go to work, even if I'm sick. Even if I'm sick, even if I get into a car accident, I get hurt. I still got to call in and be like, I got into a car accident and both of my legs are broken. To me, that seems like I'm bounded to this job, which gives me this little paycheck. And if I go against the job, they could fire me. And some people are like, hey, I don't want to get fired. So therefore, I'm going to do everything the job says. If the job says don't go to the protest, I'm not going to the protest. If the job says don't support this group over here, you see what I'm saying? Some people get into that. I've noticed that on this side, their mindset is I'm not going to rock the boat because I got this good job and I'm making this money and I got this house and I got this cars or whatever, and I don't want to rock the boat. So I would just adding that in. I'm not sure on that side what's actually going on, and that's why you guys are able to educate me, because I've learned a lot so far. So go ahead, brother Asa. Go ahead.
Right on, right on. Well, first of all, I'd want to understand something from Brother King. Can we really say slavery is a claim, according to your words, brother? And my other note is that, African workers are, African workers are usually and obviously clearly the only ones who are producing value. And when I say this, I'm not saying this as a way of besmirching the African middle class, but I'm simply saying, if you find any African who's a bricklayer and you find an African who's a university lecturer, the person who made the damn university is not the damn lecturer, it is the bricklayer, because the university is made of bricks. So that's what I mean when I say value is produced by the workers, by the African working class, by laborers, okay? And in the state of African people, we actually find out that an African who's unemployed, a mother in the ghetto who's just sitting there with her children, is actually working. There's no such thing as an unemployed slave. You can't be unemployed under slavery, right? So that's what we're talking about when you, Mafrika, Brother King, talk about we just want our leaders to be good to us. Can't they be principled? Damn it, the reason they can't be principled is because they function within a system that is anti-you, anti-me, in fact, anti-themselves. That's why these people used to be called non-whites by Steve Biko. So right now, today, when you want to move on up and the economic requirements are for you to sell your grandmama, the only way that you're going to move on up is if grandmama's no longer rocking that damn chair because she's somewhere absent where you put her. You understand? Wow. So I just want to say that thing, because one of the most interesting things about the situation of African people, some people say, oh, they compare Africans and what happened to us to the Chinese, or compare us to the Indians. I live with East Indians in South Africa, in Durban, right? And everybody says, well, they were also slaves. How come today they own so much? You understand? Well,
yes.
East Indian people were not the economic base. They are not the seat for capitalism. They are not the seat for South Africa and white power to exist. Do you understand? These people are more like, what do I say this? This is the cream on top of the ice, on top of the ice cream, right? African people are the cone. You understand? Our enslavement is the damn cone that actually allows this damn ice cream to be even functional, to even exist in any capacity. So that's the reason that these Negroes are coming up and betraying the people all the time. It's not a matter of some kind of inherent inferiority on the part of African people or some kind of ineptitude on our part. It's actually the fact that in order to move up in the system, you have to be against African masses. That's just how it works.
Wow.
So you got is less of a claim. It's more of a material, scientifically falsifiable phenomena.
So what you're saying, brother, is that, from my understanding, remember, I'm an outsider, so to speak, is that to move up in Azania, you got to basically, quote unquote, sell out your people, or whatever term you want to use. You got to go against your people.
That is not true.
To move up. Wait. Hold up, King. I'm just quoting what the brother said. I'm just trying to make sense. Mm-hmm. Another thing I was going to make a statement was that I remember reading about Mahatma Gandhi, or whatever. He was down there in Azania at one point. And I learned the hard way that he made some disparaging terms against Africans. He made some negative terms against Africans. And I was like, what? I thought this man was about peace and love and nonviolent resistance and all of this stuff. And then I was like, why would he make a statement? But anyway, I'm gonna leave that where it is, because that kind of makes sense to me, how I guess East Indians are able to do maybe I don't
You
know.
see,
I'm just anyway. But King, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
you see, this is my stand on this. You see, there is always good reasons to fail in life. Always. In fact, there are 1,001 good reasons for any human being to fail. But one thing that people don't understand, and the people of Africa do not understand, is that people don't care how you fail. Nobody cares. The only thing that people care about is how you succeed. You will never see a failure, a man who failed being interviewed by any journalist on how he failed. My challenge with our people is simple. Why is it that we have so many reasons? We can even explain them. We can even analyze them. He just gave example of the Indians that came in here in South Africa as slaves. When they came in here as slaves in South Africa, they came to farm sugar cane. What was given to them after slavery? But we are those people today in South Africa. Now, my take has
Wait.
always
I have a
been.
question. I have a question. Are those East Indians in higher positions of power? Are they in like
It's
wait. Do they own those diamond mines and stuff? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Was an East Indian ever a president of Azania? I'm just
no,
asking, brothers. All due respect, I'm just asking
Uh,
because I'm trying to figure out how did they move up more than the actual African, or is
uh-huh.
it is it an illusion that
no, it's not an illusion. The thing is this:
no, not
anybody
you,
who
not
has
not
anybody who has the economic power is the most powerful person. It's not
okay.
about political. It's not about political power. The black people can be
Wait,
president all they want, but then if they are not economically viable, if they are not economically strong, if they are not economically on the top of the ladder, they are still nowhere. So what we're talking about here is how the Indians has climbed the ladder of success in economics, right?
so they're
Their economic
higher.
power is higher,
They're
higher,
they're
higher
higher than the Africans.
than Africans. And how did that
So
happen?
wow. So okay, I have
How
a
did that
question. I have a question, brothers. Both of y'all anyone can answer. I have a question. So you're using the example of East Indians, right? And they're
Yeah,
higher than Africans, right? Um,
yeah.
so do they have their own schools? Do they have their own stores? Do they have their own you feel me communities? Do you guys feel me on that? Like do
Yeah,
they have a
yeah.
do they have an infrastructure? Are they getting help from the Indian government? Because remember, they still got a country. They still have a country that's sitting over there with almost a billion people in it, and then they're like, I guess they're a computer giant now. They're all into building electronics and all this stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, I kind of figured that out, but I didn't know that about Azania. I didn't know how these East Indians, who are not even from there, how they kind of. But maybe somebody can elaborate.
Right on. Can I respond to this, Brother King, and
Yeah.
everything else that you said? Right on. Good. Yes, let's start first with the East Indians and how they relate in terms of like what's their situation. The East Indians arrive here under the hand of the Dutch East India Company. In fact, that's why they actually took the East Indians. We know the West Indians, so-called West Indians, would be the indigenous people in the Americas, right? So now what happened here is that the East Indians jumped on the emergence of capitalism by actually breaking out uh, of the kind of servitude that they were in through what? At the expense of African people, by betraying fellow colonized people. It's like if you go to Mexico and you find Mexican people and African people fighting over the scraps that the white North Americans are leaving for us, right? And then somebody would say, yeah, you know, the Mexicans, this is their land and they deserve this job. Or somebody would say, no, the Africans were slaves here and they deserve this job. That kind of situation happened right here in South Africa with the East Indians. And the East Indians, under their leadership, which is petty bourgeoisie, people like Mahatma Gandhi, that man is actually a blight in the Indian community, as much as people, you know, East Indian people hold him up as a hero. But to be honest, that man misled the East Indian population, because East Indian workers are actually suffering in India, right? As well as in South Africa. There are situations whereby you find that East Indian people can only hold on to nationalism, to some kind of East Indian nationalism, and say, oh, at least I'm not a guffer, you know, at least I'm not a dirty nigger. That's what they're being taught by these damn kind of leaders. So I just want to respond to that situation and say that in order to move on up in a social system based on African enslavement, you have to do something that helps African enslavement. You have to solidify African enslavement. I love what Brother King said about, you know, there are 1,000 good reasons to fail in life. But how is life? We can't just say in life, we have to say in a particular social system. Because there is no just life, there's a social system. There is a social system based on either social production and social ownership, right? Whereby everybody produces and everybody consumes. Is that what you call life, Brother King? Or are you talking about social production and private ownership, where everybody produces and then one guy owns the damn thing because he's got more coins and more paper and more guns? This is the kind, you're speaking about the latter kind of society. So you're not going to be able to generalize and say, you know, there's always good reasons to fail in life. What we're talking about is under slavery, the slave will fail as long as slavery continues to exist, because that's what slavery is about. So what's important for the slave to do is to end slavery, is to wipe out the slave master and wipe out the institutions of slavery. We don't hate white people because they're white. We hate white people because they are oppressors. So if a black man steps up and sits on that seat of oppression, we will hate that pig too, and we will decapitate him in seconds. You understand? So I just want to say that in terms of this thing, because Jay-Z, oh, I'm sorry. You know, Jay-Z is one of those people that hold that philosophy and say, no, you know, the reason black people become revolutionaries is because they're making excuses. They don't want to hustle hard. Yeah, hustling hard includes selling drugs to the African community and killing African people and pimping African women and African men and African children. I'm not going to be a part of that, because the majority of black people actually fail at the system, because this system is an unjust and false system that has no love for our people, right? So now, in the last part of what I just want to respond to, is that if you got, and I loved what you said, Brother King, I agree with you on this one. You talked about economic power, right, as a basis for things, right? Now, let's think about this. What is an economy? What is an economy? How do you define an economy, Brother King? You know, because from how I look at this thing and how we look at this thing in the Uhuru movement, an economy is more about consumption for use. You understand? Food, clothes, and shelter. We use those things or we consume those things. How do we get those things? We produce them. So we're talking about production and consumption. That's what you're speaking about when you're speaking about economics and politics. So we cannot just say, oh, you know, the Indians have economic power because they save their money and us niggers don't. No, it's not like that. It's the fact that our labor is being extracted forcefully through the bayonet and the gun. And in order for you to stop a bayonet or a gun from shooting and killing you and stuffing you at the age of 4 into a mine in Sierra Leone, you're going to have to expropriate the expropriators. And that's through organization. That's why the African working class needs its own philosophy and its own ideology that deals with us taking power instead of trying to find good leaders.
So I got a question real quick, and maybe either person can answer. From what I would like to know, because a lot of people ask me, why can't people of African descent, quote unquote, reach the top? And some people are like, well, all you got to do is have a different mindset, and you will reach the top no matter what. And you're going to be on top of the whole world, and you're going to own everything that you know what I'm saying? Like you reach the top. You reach the top. And And I had this conversation with someone that's very dear to me, and I love the person, that conversation, and I actually was able to say no because I'm like, I did everything I was supposed to do in this society that I'm in right now. I did everything that I was supposed to do according to whatever plan they said to follow to reach the top. But I never made it to the top. And I'm sitting here like, wow, why haven't I made it to the top? Is it because I made the wrong decisions, or what happened? And a lot of people go, no. They're like, Ajamu, you didn't make the wrong decisions. They told me there are people at the top, and they never want to see you at the top with them. So you're never going to reach. I don't care how much money you got. Is that true or not?
Brother King, you could take that first.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
I can't hear you, brother.
I don't actually believe.
I can hear him.
Yeah, I don't actually believe that there is a place for certain people and a place for the rest of the people. I look at life like a pyramid, a triangular form, whereby many people are down and few people are up. Now, nobody stops you from climbing from the down floor to the top floor. I was giving an example of this to my students. I told them about the power of gravity. When I throw anything up, it must come down. Now, the power of gravity is not just what we see in the atmosphere. It happens in our lives as human beings also. When you are about to go up in life, it is not just the oppositional power from external forces that will want to stop you. Sometimes, even in your family, there will be people who will not want you to go that up. And they will do everything in their power to keep you down. And my challenge with us as Africans has been the ideology that we have, that people should sympathize with us. Come on now, we are in the race. And when you are in the race, you don't expect another person to bet you. Everybody is running to win. You don't expect them to stop their race and come and bet. Do you think who wanna be last? Nobody wanna be last. Everybody wanna be at the top. And that's why the place at the top is so small. Because everybody wanna be at the top. So if you are at that pity party that said, the Europeans are not doing us good, China are not doing us good, and all of those stuff. Who told you that they are even supposed to do us good in the first place? Because they're also running their race. You understand?
Well, I know.
I believe that the place at the top, any nation at all, any nation can rise to glory if they have good leaders. Any nation at all. Any nation at all.
But they said, but a lot of people say that the United States has had good leaders since its beginning, and every leader that I read, I'm like, they haven't done nothing for people that look like me. It's in the books. They write. They openly tell you. And I'm not attacking nobody. I'm just saying I'm looking at it. And by the way, I did come to the conclusion that I would never want to be at the top of whatever system is located here where I'm at,
Yeah.
because it's just not morally stable. I'm too morally, I'm too of a moral. I have too much integrity to even be in the system for the first place. So I already decided it doesn't matter for me to be anywhere in it, because my morality and my integrity doesn't fit in it.
Straight up.
Yeah, it's pretty deep. But at the same time, I would like to see a system created by us, if possible.
Whoa. Straight up.
If possible.
Yo, can I jump in on this, Brother King? Yo, I'm gonna say this, yo. I appreciate you, Brother Ajamu, a lot, especially for that last statement. All around, comrade, because what you've said is that, you know, there must be a different world better than this one. You understand? As Brother King looks at people like myself and others like me as pessimists, right? Because we are making all these excuses for black poor people, right? When black poor people need to just get up off their asses and just do the damn work that every white man and every Chinese person has done. You see yourself as an optimist. In destroying white power, I see myself as an optimist because I'm saying another world is possible. I think a person who says this is the only damn world we got, this system of rape and murder of my black people is the only world that we got, I think that person is a damn pessimist. And that's how I look at you, Brother King, right? But then here's what I'll say. There's a different world. It's based on a different economy, right? A different economic base. This world is called black power. It's going to be a world system. All Chinese, white people, all the damn people in the world are going to be under the leadership of African poor people. And when we poor people become the rulers of this world, overthrowing all the rich niggers, all the Jay-Z's and Beyoncé's and all these other pigs, right, next to the white man, you will never see another poor person again, because the opinions of poor people in day-to-day life will become the rule of law. When a poor person tells you that it's wrong for people to starve, that's not just going to be a sentiment anymore in black power. That's going to be a law. You might have people walking around as members of the state. That's the socialist cops, right? Who will be walking around with scanners, scanning people and saying, wait, brother, this scanner tells me that you haven't eaten in 5 or 12 hours. Brother, this is an emergency. Do you understand? And they put you up in a car and put you in a place where you could get all the nutrition you need. I'm not saying this as some kind of a fantastic joke. I'm saying this because it's scientifically calculated that if producers produce all that they produce and control it, then it makes more sense for producers to be able to consume it because they control it. The only reason that poor people, African working class, right? The only reason that black masses are struggling so much that they get disrespected and dissed all the time by their fellow blacks, right? These niggers who are rich, right? The only reason this gets to happen is because we do not control the philosophy. We do not have our own way of thinking. Imagine if fish defined land and water the same way the cat does. The fish would be trying to jump out of the water because they thought they'd drown. They share the same philosophy as the oppressor. So we have different interests. Between the white man and the black man, there's two different interests. And between the black rich man and the poor black man, there's also two different interests. The black rich man is better off with the white women and Queen Elizabeth. Nelson Mandela and Queen Elizabeth, they just go all together. But the black poor woman and the black poor man in the ghetto, those people actually have no contradiction with each other. Be you a homosexual, be you a Christian, be you a Muslim, right? So that's what I'm saying, because we're producers. Producers don't have time to dilly-dally and play around with little philosophies and ideas. Producers are really based on this damn hand, what you can see, smell, taste, hear, and touch. So that's what I'm saying in terms of the system that we're going to be able to have. And brother Ajamu, on the issue of, people saying, we people of African descent, quote unquote, just got to believe in the system if we work hard enough. I think those people are reformists. They really believe that if a rapist is raping you, all you got to do is just, stop struggling and make the whole damn thing easy for him. Then maybe he won't kill you after he's done. Well, damn it, I'm condemning the whole rape. That's what I'm saying. Don't let this man touch you in the first place. That's black power. That's what the African working class has to struggle for. So I'm for the destruction of this world, Brother King. I'm sorry. This world is going down. I'm going to destroy it actively with people like myself. Uhuru.
I am not against whatever he's saying, but I have been around for a while now to see people who claim to be fighting for revolution. When they finally get hold of that power, they abuse it. You are familiar with the president of Uganda. That was a young man in his time. He came and he said, we are going to break the system and form a new one. You still sing praises of Robert Mugabe. He took over. What did he do? He shared a mind with his friends. The same thing that you are talking about, breaking the system and trying to see, I'm not against that. But my problem with us is so many times the so-called revolutionists, they end up in bands, big houses. Like the thing is simple. If Africa really want to be out of slavery, we will be out of slavery. It doesn't take much. Our people don't demand so much. Electricity, water, and all of those stuff. We can create within ourselves. But we are damn too greedy. One person wants to own 90% of the wealth. Go to Nigeria, where I come from. A governor, which is a premier of a province, we own wealth that belongs to the people of the whole province. But these are the same people that were condemning leaders. So anytime I hear of a movement, there is a sound. I don't know where it's coming from. Anytime I hear of a movement, and I sit down, I look at it, and I look at who is talking about the movement, I'm like, okay. The question is this: how sincere are we? Because I tell people, if this generation fail Africa, we are surely gonna go back into slavery again. Like a real one. I'm not talking of the one you guys are talking about here. Even the small freedom we have, you will no more have it. Because the problem has been The deepest problem of Africa is gone past poor leadership and poverty.
Mm.
An African man will say rubbish on another African person that has fought his way out of poverty. In fact, if you come down here in South Africa, everybody that is damn rich is considered to have a snake. That is a spiritual money or whatsoever. You will hear people saying stuff like that, and
You
that
said a
is
snake?
blasphemy on black.
You said a snake?
Yeah,
What's wrong with a snake?
no, that is their source of money.
Oh, okay.
So I look at this and I feel like the microscopic view of the Africans that would have lead us into economic freedom. The rest of the masses of the African turn against them because it becomes unlawful to be lawful in a lawless community.
So you're saying, King, are you saying that the African does not have morality or integrity when it comes to power?
I think Africans they have all of those. But what I'm saying is the inability for an African person to appreciate another African.
So
Be it in power, because we look at it, the few
right.
powerful leaders that
Let me-
Africans have produced. We hear Africans talking against them to the world.
but maybe those weren't the right leaders, or maybe they were just like some, I don't know, some leaders that somebody put there just because nobody else
Man, let me-
wanted to be a leader, I guess. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Let me jump in on this just a little bit, man, because I think there's a lot of historical things that Brother King is glossing over, especially in terms of the definition in terms of class. You understand? I don't think people just come up and become good leaders. When you're speaking about good leaders, Brother King, historically, you're speaking about the African middle class, because these children of chiefs were the ones who would be allowed to go to Fort Hare, as you know, Nelson Mandela and Walter Sisulu and all these other people that you would look at as great leaders, right? Including your President Mugabe, whom I don't remember mentioning his name as anything revolutionary. I didn't say he's a revolutionary because he's not. He never was, right? He's the African middle class. I'm giving you something here when I say these people, you have to be aware of them as a class force. Oh, there goes my candlelight waning, right? But as a class force, you have to be aware of these kinds of people, Brother King, because what's going to happen is that you will be surprised why the people got betrayed in the first place. People are not betrayed by black people because black people are greedy. Because I'm going to ask you a question, and I hope that you could find an answer for it. It's very difficult, but it's going to be very simple in terms of how I'm going to ask it. It is, what is the material basis for greed? You know, where does greed come from?
Yeah, the desire to have much beyond what you are expected to have.
Oh, okay. So greed is an emotion that comes from another emotion. Okay, but I'm looking for a material basis for that emotion, my brother. Is there a material basis for greed?
Yeah, greed is all about wanting to have more and more and more and more and more. That's all. That's where greed
I can
comes
help.
from.
Yeah, I can help you in that. I know I'm in a dark room right now, but I can help you with that question. Greed, the material basis for greed is a social system where there are haves and where there are have-nots. And guess what? The haves never be sweating for nothing. You understand? They have. But the have-nots are always the bricklayers who sleep inside imikuku, who sleep inside shacks. you understand that dynamic?
But
That's
wait,
what's happening in the world.
but brother, I got a question.
Yeah.
Why are you in the dark?
It's because Africa's future is so bright. No, brother, it's because my candlelight just ended. We just ran out of power a few
There's no
hours ago.
power.
So
There's no power where you at, right?
yeah. No power here. So I was using candlelight the whole time, but
Yeah,
I'm
y'all
still
see
here.
it, right? Y'all see it. Yeah, that's some deep stuff, man. No power in
Right? Yeah.
2021.
In 21,
And
right? But
and
guess what?
supposedly Azania is the most developed country or one of the most developed
On the
countries
African continent,
on the
yeah,
African continent. Yet my man is sitting in the dark. How?
right?
Why is
No, but
that?
I'll tell you what, brother.
Are you in an all
Adamu.
black? Are you in an all black neighborhood?
Oh yeah, I am. I'm in the townships.
I'm
But
just saying.
listen,
Yeah, so
let, let me
you
tell
look at that. You look at that right there. You look at that right there. Somebody
uh-huh.
was given opportunity to take care of that. Let's say was given a contract to take care of that, and
Oh
maybe
yeah.
that person is right in that neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes this neighborhood don't have electricity because somebody in the neighborhood wants to do an illegal connection. You
Oh,
understand? And now they not have it. Now, how can you begin to blame other people for that?
Yeah. Oh, that's very interesting, brother. King, that you speak about these people, these particular people who would make illegal connections and whatnot. But why did they make those connections? For money, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, money is the motive, man. Money is the
mm,
reason people do these things, right? Okay, so where does this damn money come from? Money comes from the capitalist system. Okay, who prints the damn money? The white man doesn't print the money. Nelson Mandela prints the money? No, sir. It is still white power. Anywhere you go, if you try to print that money yourself, brother King, they call that counterfeiting. Your black self is going to jail for a very long time. So I tell black people this all the time when I talk to us. I say, we don't want money, we want what money buys. So the only
mm.
people, the only class that has a bone of greed in their body is the class that can actually eat from it. The masses who produce electricity, they live right next door to me, man. They've had no electricity for 3 years, and it takes an African poor person with a poor person's philosophy to come and tell a brother working at Escom, which is an electrical company, and say, hey, brother, you work with cable at that company, right? But you've had no electricity for 3 years, and that cable is right here. Do you recognize the relationship between the worker and the production of the worker? No, most of the time, African workers have no understanding of the fact that they are workers. They actually think they're helping me out because I'm getting a job, but not really. The truth of the matter is, you are producing everything, and you got nothing because you are colonized. Simple as that. So what we have to fight for is not to have more raised payment. It's not to have nice presidents and nice neo-colonialist leaders. Is to take power. I produce it. I take it. I make it. I take it. We make it actually because it's social production. You can't produce anything by yourself physically. So that's how it goes, brother King. That's what it is. That's what socialism is about.
I'm not. I'm actually not getting. I'm actually not getting it, brother Asa,
Okay.
because you say um, it's controlled by the white. So do you want to tell me that if the president of the country has taken it upon himself to make sure that every sector, be it water, be it electricity, is intact, would there be anybody at all that will come to stop him?
Oh yeah. What you'd have to understand, brother, is the fact that there are rewards for that kind of debauchery and drudgery, right? You'd have to understand that there's more to gain in a capitalist system in making more capital. You think white people, the only reason that you think white people do not do these things is because they're doing them to you. They don't do them to their own kind because they're doing them to you. So when your kind is trying to do what white people are doing, they have to do it to who white people are doing it to, which is you. That's one thing you have to understand about the system. This system is not yours, man. This country is not yours. Nigeria is not yours. It is a prison against you. It is a country that is made to drain the life out of you. So anybody who's up in Nigeria at the top is actually a blood drinker, a blood drainer. I'm not saying that is some kind of like, vampirism, but I'm saying that damn person is a capitalist. He wants to do work. Okay.
Do you know what a statement like that does to people?
Hopefully it wakes them up.
No, it doesn't wake them up. It makes them lazy. It makes them lose hope.
Oh,
They
okay.
think that they're not in control of anything. So anything goes. And all of these
Oh,
useless
yeah.
leaders, they embezzle money as they can because they have somebody to blame. You understand?
Yeah.
They
Well,
have
I'll
somebody to
tell you
blame.
what.
We can mess the country up and still blame the white colony.
Well, the white man made the country, right? So don't you think he created structures that would actually function to sustain that country, even
Who
at
is
the
meant
expense of black people?
who is maintaining those structures?
The structures are maintained by the same thing that maintained them when they began, African enslavement.
Now, you wanna tell me that I can come to your house, and don't get me wrong here, I can come to your house, create a structure that is totally against your children, and you will happily operate that structure without asking a single damn question, even one day.
I don't think that's how it happened. That's not how it happened, comrade. How it actually happened was a system was built against us through the use of guns, knives, and swords and brutality. Do you understand me? This thing built an economy. The first form of money that you talk about, you want to talk about the dollar, you want to talk about all this economic, actually, not even economic, I'd say fiscal, I'd say financial stuff, right? The first form of money was African bodies. We are the first commodity. You understand? We are that dollar. So the reason black people can't seem to make enough nairas or enough rands or enough dollars is because that's what black people are in this system. You can't eat yourself. And if you
Well,
do try, you won't bleed out.
yeah, I remember I did some research about birth certificates here in the United States,
Hmm.
and apparently the birth certificate number, my birth certificate number, is being traded on the stock market for
Hmm.
about $300,000.
Oh
So
yeah, damn.
so technically, I'm worth $300,000
Yes,
according
sir.
to the government that I'm in.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
I'm not taking sides. I'm just throwing that in. Just throwing that in. I didn't know that for years, and when I found that out, I didn't. I got kind of upset. But I was like, hey, it's all good. I can already tell what position I'm in, and I
Hmm.
think what keeps me going is that there's a better world. There's a better. There's, there's something better, or I could create something better,
Hmm.
or as collectively we can create something better. I had a lot of friends that have left Florida and they went to Cuba, and as far as I know, Cuba's a socialist country. And when they went, they saw some things there that they would never see here. They didn't see homeless people. They didn't see nobody begging. Everybody pretty much ate. There are some negative parts. Don't get me wrong. There were some negative parts.
Mm.
I remember that. But the point is that what do we do going forward?
Yeah, right
Because
on.
because I mean, I could sit here and say whatever, and I just want to work with my fellow African. And if we
Hmm.
need to build up economically, then let's do it. if we need to restructure a government or create something new, maybe a council of people who govern over sections. I don't know what the answer is, because we would all collectively have to come together
Mm,
and
mm,
erase all of those boundaries that was
mm.
created, whatever, and recreate it for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
When is that coming? When is that day coming?
Man, thank you so much, Mafrika. I'd like to jump on that and just say this. I appreciate you and the discussion Brother King brought forward, because it'll give the people who are watching this live a chance to really conceive a different world once again. So I'm going to say this. One, we have to be able to define who is the leadership. And this is very, very, very important. There's a book that I'd like to suggest by my Chairman Amali Yeshitela. It's called Tactics and Strategy. Okay? It's a book written in 1977 by the African People's Socialist Party, but it's very important. Tactics and Strategies. And it's basically talking about defining leadership for the African Revolution, the entire African nation, including the black middle class, including the African working class, right? These are two sectors of the same nation, has to be led by one particular sector, the majority. And how is the majority able to do this? It's by having our own philosophy. And where does philosophy come from? From material experience, from material evidence. You understand what I'm saying? So first of all, that's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to define who is our leadership. Our leadership is poor black people. So all the black dreamers and all the black billionaires and all the people with the snakes, or the snakes with the people in their houses, we're gonna have to shut them up and move them to the side and tell them it's quiet time for now, right? Daddy's speaking, mama's speaking right now. Because we've had leadership from rich black people for the past 200, 300 years. You could look it up. You could find the ANC was actually created by children of chiefs. John L. Dube, Nelson Mandela, Chief Albert Lutuli, Chief Walters. Ain't no poor people who created these organizations, man. In South Africa, there's no poor people. In fact, you could go anywhere in the African nation. You go to the United States, you find out about W.E.B. Du Bois. He was a petty bourgeois Negro. You go
Yeah.
to Kenya, you find out about this man called Jomo Kenyatta. He was nothing but another petty bourgeois sellout, right? So the thing is, just because you're rich doesn't make you a sellout. But the fact that you don't want to bow down to the leadership of the poor people who produce the things that you buy with your rich money, that's what makes you a parasite and a sellout. You understand? So you have to take that stance and commit class suicide. So defining leadership is important. Secondly, is making sure that we make revolutionary philosophy. You understand? We have a revolutionary philosophy. We gotta have a revolutionary philosophy. A philosophy that does not excuse capitalism, that does not excuse colonialism. A philosophy that actually believes that the poor masses of our people are just and are correct in taking back our resources, human and material. Meaning the way that we act with our hands and our bodies has been creating an economy for the world that does not love us, for the world that actually makes our lives a living hell. We got to be able to do that. And then thirdly, everybody's got to be able to centralize on the fact that we deal with a material basis for everything. We can't deal with a spiritual basis for everything, because things are physical, right? Spirits are usually things that you would identify after you've seen something physically. You can't talk about heavenly gates unless you've seen gates here on earth. So let's start there. Let's always keep it material. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it in the five senses. A baby knows that, but an adult doesn't. An adult can see the food that needs to be created, and he'll still tell you stupid things about money and say, I need this much money. No, 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 fool. You need this much hands. Anyway, Uhuru.
Interesting.
I think the way forward for us as Africans, first of all, let's admit that in one way or the other, we are also architects of our fate. A leader is a reflection of his people. And why is it that all over the 54 countries in Africa, we cannot unequivocally point a country that is doing so well? How is that? And the philosophy of saying we should push the rich guys away and get to the poor people. The first thing that a poor person does when he gets money, he leaves the township. And sometimes some people are not humble, they are just poor. You give them that money, you see the real character in them. And the definition of leadership, we must change it. We must make the young people know that a leader is not a deity to be worshipped, it's a servant. And I think when we define that crystal clear to our younger generation, I think we will not have any problem. The only problem we have right now is our ideology concerning leadership. Because everybody who is in a position want to be rich, and they're using that position to be rich. That's why leadership or whatever we call it become a do or die affair. That when somebody contests for election, they don't win, they want to kill their opponent. Because of what? They're looking for that as a route escape for poverty. So I think the first thing that we need to do as Africans is to redefine who a leader is. If we are able to do that, and I'm telling you that we can only be able to do it to the younger generation, not people like us. Because from us up, from anybody who is from 20 something years up, the only definition of leadership that we know is associated with riches and power. And these two things, if you have them as a leader, then you will not be able to lead people. You will not be able to take people where they ought to be. Because we talk about all of these leaders, even the revolutionists that we so call their names and whatsoever. Look at the houses that these guys have all over the world. Robert Mugabe. There, every country, be it London, be it America, wherever you go, he has mansions. You see. So now a young person coming from Zimbabwe, when he sees that, that will be his motivation to go into power. And when I talk of Nelson Mandela over and over and over again, people are like, no, man, you just obsessed with this man. No, I'm not obsessed with him. It is what I wish to see in every African leader. The man died with less than $1 million in his account. Go to the house that he has. It's just a normal house. How many of our presidents, we can say that about them? When they get into power, it's about them and their families. And another thing that we must do as Africans is we should forget about jealousy. This one is killing us. If we are not able to do away with jealousy, it's not every good thing that is happening to somebody that must be me. So with me, I think that this is the way forward for Africa. And if we must do it, we should do it like right now.
Oh, did you want me to comment? I was waiting on Brother Asa if he wanted to make a comment.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Thank you, comrade. Thank you very much. And I appreciate the entire discussion, especially given the fact that we all learned so much. I learned so much from being here in your show today. I just want to appreciate you both, Mafrika Fazan and Brother Ajamu. I really appreciate you. That's just one thing that I would say, because I think our quantitative struggles, including our
Uh-oh.
I think the network got bad. You'll be back.
Yeah.
So John Paul from Uganda is asking a question.
Yep.
That
Oh, yes?
why is it that all the good leaders have to die before their time? And But the fact that they die before their time, and this what I'm about to say, anybody who is listening to me will feel will feel like this statement is very controversial. But why is it that we so much believe that everybody who was killed was actually a good leader?
Which leaders is he referring to? In
I think
Africa or just in
in
general?
Africa, we talk about people like Thomas Sankara,
Oh, okay. Oh.
yeah, all of these people. Yeah, but the question is, what makes them good leaders? Is it because they were killed? Now, there is something called taking risk, in which we all believe in it and we preach it a lot that people should take risk and all of those things. But there is what is also called a calculative risk, whereby sometimes you have to play a fool to fool a fool. And if you are so arrogant to admit the fact that it is not yet time to do certain things, you get yourself killed. Because each and every movement, each and every revolution has steps. And if we jump those steps, and let me go back to Nelson Mandela. Now, I don't know the ideology that people have that he sold out or whatsoever. But now it is simple. If I have a car and I don't know how to drive that car, and I get somebody to teach me how to drive that car, it doesn't mean I'm giving that car to that person. All it meant is that the person need to teach me how to drive a car. And immediately I know how to drive that car. It is now in my hand to drive it to wherever I want to go. Now, if we look at the Nelson Mandela issue that we wanted to talk about it before we change our topic, what he did was simple. He refused to like put the white people out because they were already running the economy. And remember, they have deprived the black people of school. They never had that knowledge. They never knew how to run anything. They never knew how to operate those machines on the farm. So now, had it been the white people were flogged to go away, like just leave our country, just leave our country, who was going to do those jobs? But now there is no revolution. There is no revolution, and I don't care who says what. There is no form of revolution that happened overnight. There is no form of revolution that is completely done in one's life. What I mean is, if we start a revolution here, it might not. We might not live to see the complete end of that revolution. Maybe our children's children will get to see the end product of that revolution if they are careful enough to fight the battle that we left them with. South Africa's got the political power. Without the political power, you cannot even begin to talk of economic power. So the people that help them to get the political power now is in the hand of the young people to gain what? The economic power. But why are they so much concerned about the people that have helped them to come thus far? So I always have a problem with Africans who always think somebody has did them wrong, somebody has done them bad and all of those stuff. Why can't we own up? We know that wrong colonialism happened. Yes, it happened. But then what next? Are we gonna blame them till the end? Today,
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure what the answer would be, but I do know that um, I'm not me as a person as an individual. Um, I definitely don't idolize any human being because um, I mean, I talk about people, but I mainly see what happened, what did they do, what worked, what didn't work, And then you made the case. You know, you said there were some people that died. Yeah, I looked to see who killed them, who was behind the murder or
Yeah.
murders or whatever, and then I move on and I take the positive and I try to set up a plan for now because those people ain't even on the planet no more. All right, no disrespect to them. No disrespect to them in any way. They're not here no more. So how can they even be a part of something? They're not here. So it's up to us to take what they started. I think you were trying to say that. It's up to
Yeah.
us to take what was started and finally
Yeah.
finish it. Finish it
Yeah.
once and for all. Now, one thing I do know is that people are not going to mysteriously jump off the planet. However, people do migrate and people do move. So you always got to remember that too. So the people that are in Africa right now, for an example, may not want to live in Africa if, for example, like you said, the leaders change and they make this positive change and the other people are like, oh, I don't want to be here no more. Then naturally they're going to leave on their own. They're going to pack their bags, sell their farms or whatever they do, and they're going to go back to wherever they're from. So there's no need to kick nobody out. You would just, in my opinion, you would just do things. You would have a power structure. I guess I don't want to use the word power, but you would have something in place that had integrity and some form, some form of morality. And then those people would leave on their own because they don't want to be there no more. Because they're like, we don't have the say. We don't have say in the government. We don't have say in laws. Everything has been reversed. So then they would just leave on their own. And some places, in some countries I've read, they will pay the people to leave.
Exactly.
They will the government will give them money and say, yeah, you want to go? Okay, cool. No grudges, no nothing. We don't hate you, but if you want to leave, all right, we're going to pay for your trip. And yeah, I'll see you later. So I'm just saying, like I think some people assume that when you make change that somehow there's going to be large groups of people hurt or or killed or whatever you want to say. I hate to use that word or what have you. I don't see that. I just see a bunch of people be like, I don't want to be here no more. I'm leaving. Just like me. I would like to leave where I'm at. Nobody made me think this way. Nobody forced anything upon me. I'm not in pain. Nobody hurt me. It's not a decision that was made under duress. It was a decision made based off of my intellect and based off of what I see happening before my very eyes. I'm just giving that as an example.
Exactly.
People move.
No, I think we have had a very fruitful conversation.
Yeah, I know it's getting late.
Yeah, what we take from here is that it is possible for us to create our own system, and if we are to create our own system, we must be sincere with ourselves. We must do away with blame game, because it is possible that the same things that we are blaming anybody about, we might find ourselves doing the same thing. That is what most of the leaders do. That is what most of the revolutionists do.
Yeah, I agree with you to a certain extent. I know on my side here, seeing what the people do that's not moral or not right, it doesn't make me want to do it. I'm totally against. Matter of fact, in my mind, if I was in a position of power, I would definitely not do that. Definitely not. Only because it was exposed. So I was able to learn about it.
Yeah.
So I know if I get into a position of power, for an example, I wouldn't do that. Now, I'm not looking for a position of power because I could care less. I'm just looking for economic collaboration and unity amongst our people. We can all benefit together. All. I know that sounds. I know that's a tall order. Some people say, "Oh, that's impossible." No, it's not. No, it's not. People do it all the time. People do it all the time.
It's not. No, listen, brother Ajamu, thank you very much for
Welcome.
staying
You're
this
welcome.
long. Yeah, we have really, really enjoyed this session, and we will be back here again next week, the same
Yeah.
time. And in fact, we will let you guys know the topic that we are bringing on board, and we'll let you know our guest. Yes, and guys, please share the video if you can. Let us keep spreading the message. I said this before we started the show, and I'm gonna say it again before we close. There are people out there who think it is noise that we are making. Our effort to create the Africa of our dream is just noise. But one thing we believe beyond any reasonable doubt is one day this noise that we are making will become the only voice of reason to young people across the continent. And this voice of reason will become hope to everyone. Thank you very much, Africa. And wherever you are that you are watching us, stay blessed. May God bless each and every one of you. Thank you, Brother Ajamu, for coming. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.